What's happening? Back again. Look, man, today I think I was going to touch on the untold history of man, some details about Egypt and the pyramids and stuff like that. This is coming from, majority of it's coming from Graham Hancock. If you ever listen to him in the Lost Civilization that he talks about and stuff like that, is very interesting. So, anyway, just let's go ahead and get into it. You know what I'm saying? I got these notes right here. So, the pyramids are the pyramids are within 3/60th of a degree of true north. It's very extremely accurate. You know what I'm saying? 3/60th of a degree, which is ridiculous. The footprint is 13 acres. So, of course, they would have to use astronomy to build these things. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's extremely difficult to build these with this kind of accuracy, showing their importance. Because if it wasn't a very important monument, they just stick it out there and be like, oh, whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying? But obviously, this was very important to their culture and their people. And so, anyways, they have a temple of Horus at Edfu. The text speaks of an island where gods lived and it flooded, destroying it. The remaining people that lived settled in Egypt. Okay, it's kind of interesting. The Great Sphinx of Giza has been restored over and over, throughout time, throughout history. And if you look at the paws and stuff like that haven't been restored as much as the face has, because the face evidently has been the main thing that they've been restoring. They show heavy rainfall, erosion, indicating that it was there around the last ice age. So that really throws out the window some of these claims that, you know what I'm saying, that this thing's like 5,000 years old or whatever it may be. I think some people are even saying that it's younger than that, and it's not the case. It's even older than that. So, anyways, like I said, there's temples in front of the Sphinx made of some material, the same material of this body of the Sphinx, which is limestone. Same age as the Sphinx. They contain blocks of stone weighing 100 tons. That's the big kicker here about Egypt and the pyramids and these monuments of this magnitude is insane. The weight and size of these blocks that they were moving. So, which I should say before I move on, this is indicating either prior knowledge of something greater than the technology we possess today, because as we sit today, we'd struggle very hard to, if we were to attempt to make the pyramid, we'd struggle very hard. And these people are supposed to be people that are just settling, you know what I'm saying, using fucking woolly mammoths to drag these things up, and just like hundreds of people to pull these things up these slopes. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think that's really going to get it done. Especially in the time frame that they were able to get this thing done. I'm not saying they got it done quickly, because they didn't, but you know what I'm saying. This is just, we would struggle today is what I'm trying to get at. It would not be easy for us today. So the fact that they were able to do it really shows something else, that they knew, honestly, more than we do about the nature of reality itself, and the physical world, and how to manipulate the physical world to be able to do these things. There's graffiti on the pyramid from many different people throughout time, throughout history. There's many chambers throughout the pyramid. Inside shafts, there's shafts inside the chambers. Example of a chamber name. They named these after the fact. These are not names by the Egyptians. These are names by people that studied the pyramids. So they got the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, stuff like that. So, anyways, there's shafts inside the queen's chamber, and the north shaft, because there's a north and south shaft. The north shaft points to Beta Ursa Minor. The southern points to Sirius. The fact that these point to stars and stuff like this is kind of very intriguing, or constellations or whatever it may be. The queen's shaft do not exit to the outside, which is very interesting because the kings do. So Rudolf Guntenbrink sent a small robot up the shaft in 1993 Came across a door with 2 handles, and he was immediately banned from further research. The project was taken over by the Egyptian government. Isn't that kind of weird? You know what I'm saying? Finds this thing, and they're like, "Whoa, chill out. You found too much. Let's take that over, and let us handle this." Zahi Hawass later sent a robot up there with a drill through the door. They found space on the other side of the door. They weren't sure what it was, but later on they showed that what was beyond the first door was another door. So it's kind of interesting. But let's see. The Corbel Vault slash arch. Each level gets narrow and narrow. It's like describing the arch that they made in there. The blocks weighed about 70 tons, laid at an angle of 26 degrees, and you cannot get a piece of paper between the joints. So it's unbelievably precise, like complete, almost close to unfathomable how accurate and precise these things were done here in Egypt, in the pyramids. So, anyways, above the king's chamber, there are 5 more chambers. The northern shaft of the king's chamber points to Alpha Draconis, and the southern shaft points to Orion's belt. The granite blocks that are in the pyramid had to be brought from 500 miles from Aswan, because there wasn't granite, around that close in the area. So these blocks were brought from 500 miles away. On what? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the theme here with Egypt is how the hell did they achieve these things? So the sarcophagus inside the king's chamber was more to believe to be some sort of initiation type thing. It didn't actually have anybody in it. So the range of weight for these things is 100 tons in each block of the top chamber above the king's chamber, and inside others above the king's chamber. So what I'm saying is, inside these chambers, above the king's chamber, there's a range of blocks with weighing around 100 tons. And the fact that they were able to get at this, level, and then they make a level, and then let's get this fucking block up here. How in the hell, when it's 100 tons each, did this kind of thing happen? Kind of wild, you know what I'm saying? So, there's one thing that really stands out is Kahufu, which is the person that they give, it seems like, the most credit to building the pyramids. There's only one graffiti quarry mark mentioning him. Could be forged, could be fake, in terms of someone else later could have done that and then been like, hey, I found this and this is what happened. The only statue that survived of him is 2 inches tall. If he built the pyramids, you think that they're going to leave around a statue of him that's only 2 inches tall? The pyramids seem like a very significant thing, so I don't think they'd give the orchestrator a 2-inch tall statue. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, inside the pyramid of Unas, there's text on the walls. Very early stories of life and death and purpose. Egyptians studied the spiritual world for 3,000 years. This is the real important thing here, is that we have not studied the spiritual world for 100 years, for what I know. You know what I'm saying? But they've studied the spiritual world for 3,000 years. So who's to say that? That's just old wise tales. Those are just Egyptian hieroglyphics that don't mean anything. They're just, you know what I'm saying? They're nothing. They don't have any premise. They studied this shit for 3,000 years. We're going to act like they're completely false, completely just, you know what I'm saying? They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They did it for 3,000 years, but we don't know. They fucking built the pyramids and shit, but that's about all they can do. I don't think that's how we should be looking at this. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so some certain depictions. The religion of Osiris must be preserved. It's just one of those things in their religion or spirituality kind of outlook that you see is Osiris plays a big thing here. Souls of Pe and Nekon were detailed in this. Osiris was the first king, lived in legendary first time, brought civilization to Egypt. He was murdered by Set and 72 conspirators. His body was hacked to pieces and actually was evidently reassembled and revived through the magic of goddess Isis, which is kind of odd when you think about, you know what I'm saying, the Isis is mentioned in this, and Isis having to be the terror group across seas. You know what I'm saying? Is that more of a coincidence, or is it just like they were paying homage to Egypt? You know what I'm saying? I don't really know. Kind of something to think about. But so Osiris is brought back to life so that he can inseminate, which is basically impregnate Isis, who hovers over him as a bird or kite in the depiction, receives his seed, and produces the son Horus. Horus was performing the ritual that brought about the resurrection of his father in the heavens. Horus comes to you, O king, that he may do for you what he did with his father Osiris, so that you may live as those in the sky, that you may be more extant than those that live on earth. Raise yourself because of your strength. May you ascend to the sky. May the sky give birth to you like Orion. May you have power in your body, and may you protect yourself from your foe. That's from the Egyptian depictions of the text. So the Egyptians see Orion as a figure of Osiris in the sky. Orion ruled at the afterlife kingdom of Duat. Duat was between Orion and Leo, and divided by the Milky Way, which was described as the winding waterway. The three pyramids are representing the three stars of Orion's belt. If you look at the astronomy here, the Nile River happens to be just right to represent the Milky Way. In this kind of depiction, if you look at the stars and look at the difference in the pyramids, how they lay out, you know what I'm saying? This is kind of the thing that you see. So the pyramids, it seems to be a very spiritual representation, because as described by Graham, it seems to through the text and through the depictions on you know, the walls and stuff like that of the pyramids, this represents your journey through the Duat. The depictions inside of the pyramid, you know what I'm saying, they show the Duat, and you can see corresponding chambers and passageways in the pyramids themselves. They are your spiritual journey in stone. You know what I'm saying? So it's your place for preparation for the spiritual realm. This is what the pyramids were for. There's a depiction of a judgment scene, Hall of Ma'at, the fifth division of Duat. Ma'at is the god of the cosmic harmony. Is the god of cosmic harmony, justice, and he symbolizes a feather. There's scales comparing the weight of the feather versus the heart of the deceased. All 10 commandments are there, even another 30. For the Egyptians, this judgment scene was more than did you just morally behave. Life is a gifted opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Did you actually live it? Did you make use of this life, or did you just throw it away? You know what I mean? So if you didn't live morally and you wasted your life, you will face annihilation, never to be born again. If you were moral and lived your life, you know what I'm saying, to the fullest kind of thing, made a purpose of it, then life of a million years is proposed. So Nomandi Ellis, the translation of Egyptian Book of the Dead. So this is, if I remember right, this is kind of a long quote. So, it's not actually, just kidding. I stand before the masters who witnessed creation, who were with Ra that morning the sun rolled into being, who were with Osiris in the grave as he gathered himself together and burst into the tomb, white with heat, a light and shining God. If you listen to Graham, he kind of says these things a lot better than I do, because he knows these quotes better than I do. But he says it with a lot more drama and dramatic effect than I do right now. But let's see. So where the religion came from, Egyptians would have said in the time of the gods, Zep Tepi, the first time. The second pyramid, by the way, this is going back to the pyramids. I'm kind of jumping around here. This is kind of just these things that I picked out in his talk, in his little presentation, if you want to call it that. But anyways, so what we got is the second pyramid on the spring equinox. The shadow points absolutely due west. These things about it absolutely pointing in a certain direction should show you that these things are astronomically correct, and that they use astronomy to do these things. And astronomy was incredibly important to these people. So anyways, the precession of the equinoxes causes the wobble of Earth 1 degree every 72 years 1 degree every 72 years, opposite the zodiac. It takes 25,920 years to complete, 2,160 years in each house of the zodiac. By the way, the Sphinx looks perfectly due east, gazes directly at the rising sun on the spring equinox. So it's literally looking directly at the sun. If you take a picture from behind at a certain angle, you'll see that it's looking exactly at it, and you can picture the back of the head and get the sun right above it. So pyramids are a map of the sky as it looked in 10,500 BC, because if astronomers are actually able to do this thing where they can basically show you what the sky looked like back in time, because of certain movements that they know happen. You know what I'm saying? So they can reverse those movements and give you this. So people that are saying, you know what I'm saying, so did they just build it in 5,000 BC, but they wanted it to be in memory of 10,500 BC? You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys. This thing was built a long fucking time ago. So multiply the perimeter of the Great Pyramid by 43,200, you get the equatorial circumference of the Earth. If you take the height of the pyramid and multiply it by 43,200, you get the radius of the Earth. And by the way, this talk moved on to Angkor, and the similarities with these places that show great importance of astronomy and things of that nature really show that we've lost our connection with the spiritual world in the sky. You know what I'm saying? We've lost our connection to astronomy and using it for our benefit. So Giza and Angkor are exactly 72-degree longitude apart. The connection is that Angkor in ancient Egypt is life to Horus, which, if you remember, Horus happened to be in the religious text of he was the son of Osiris and Isis. So anyways, the spring equinox in Angkor, the central tower hits perfectly what the sun is. So if you go and look, it's like the similar thing where you look behind it. If you're from behind and look at a certain angle, you can see that the sun hits the tip of this tower. So 72 major temples at Angkor. There's 54 figures on each side of the bridge to the Angkor Dome. If you trace major temples of Angkor, it represents Draco. By the way, the only time this works perfectly is to 10,500 BC, is what it's saying. Egyptians, by the way, this is really jumping all over the fucking place. But if you watch this damn talk, it's magical. So I'll link that in the description so you can really kind of see where I'm getting at and getting these things from. So the Egyptians believed that all this is just an illusion. They worshipped the alert. I'm sorry, this isn't them. This is us. This is our society today. We worship the alert state of consciousness, no other kind. It's structured to a lower value in terms of state of consciousness. We cut the link from spirit in the Western world. It's always there's always money for war, but there's not necessarily money for these other kind of things. It's very short in terms of money and funding in places that matter. So this is exactly why I'm fucking proposing you fucking eliminate currency from society. I think we'll all be better off. So like I said, I'm going to link that video in the description of Graham Hancock, his little presentation he had, because that thing was fantastic. So honestly, most things that Graham Hancock puts out are fucking fantastic. To be honest with you, it's just the message that consciousness, there's a war on consciousness of dumbing us down to a level that we will not, think and question anything else but what we've been told. Because that's when you're most dangerous, because you have the most potential to do other things. Excuse me. Or think of other possibilities is what I'm trying to say here. Because once you break it down, I seen a video recently, and I'll try to find it. I'll link this one too. It's that down at the lowest level, these particles. That I can't remember which scientist said it, but he said it is a spooky movement at a distance or something like that. It's as if those particles are everything at once. So in terms of the potential is endless. The potential is infinite, because it's all things at once. It's everything. It's not just one type of atom. It's all atoms at a different point in time. So, what I'm saying? It's just like sitting there just waiting for its potential to be tapped. And I think this is true about humans in general and human consciousness, is that you are unlimited potential, unlimited awareness. It's just when you snap it on and choose, oh, this is where I'm going to go, this is where I'm going to head, this is the direction I'm going to go in, that's when you decide and you create your own reality throughout this kind of thing. And it feels throughout your body and your to the atomic level and below. Like these things are saying are these I don't even know what they're called. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but these things that are smaller than atoms, evidently, at the lowest level. So it really should show you that you are you are literally infinite potential, infinite awareness, all you're everything at once. It's just when you decide to switch it on. You know what I'm saying? So, look, man, don't be a sheep. Don't follow, the herd. Don't just hear what you say and just say, yeah, you know what? That works. Like even with these videos, dude, I'm not trying to be over here just like, listen to me and don't listen to anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Just listen to me if you want to, fuck it, whatever. You don't have to, but take what I'm saying here. And if it interests you, then go research it further, because, I don't have all the information. I'm sitting here reading off of stuff that I researched from Graham Hancock, so I obviously don't know everything. These quotes that I'm talking about that he says better than me, because he knows these things. He studied these things for a lot longer, for many years, his entire lifetime. So I'll also be getting into the thing about this lost civilization that he talks about, that, and I've even said this before, and I think I've even, I noticed this in the middle of the video. That's why I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a little cut in here, but I talked about a lot of these things on a podcast with Tim one time, so hopefully maybe you haven't watched that, because this is a lot shorter, and I know the ones with Tim or whoever it may be are a lot longer, so maybe this one will actually get across and you'll actually get this information. But what I'm saying is that he talks about a lost civilization, and that intelligence or advancement is more of a cycle. It's not necessarily a linear path. You know what I'm saying? We're not always at the cutting edge, which I know I've said this over and over again, so I'm not going to sit here and drill it into your head again. But you get what I'm saying here. It's just like the Egyptians. How in the hell were they able to build these pyramids with such accuracy, such pinpoint precision, that you can't stick a fucking piece of paper in between these blocks of hundreds of tons? It's quite a story, and it's quite a lie that we've been told from the school system, that these things are whatever they say, 2,500 or 5,000 years BC. Let's be honest with ourselves. That's incorrect. These things have been dated way beyond that. And the only reason why people are fighting that, or scientists are like, nah, man, no, we had it right from the beginning, is because once you give them different facts, or it's also like certain people, when you tell them they're asleep, they're like, no, there's no way I'm asleep. There's no way I'm a slave to the system. It's because once you tell them that, it completely dismisses their entire life's work. So So I get why they do this. I get why they're like, man, come on, dude. I get why. But that's your kind of bias. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have that. You just can't. If you want to know the truth of reality, you cannot have a bias, because you'll get distracted and you'll get led off into the wrong path every time. So, look, man, this has been about it. I'm gonna wrap this one up. This is Untaught History of Man from the Egyptians. I know I didn't go into everything. You know what I'm saying? I went into specifically the pyramids. It seems like, which is a big fucking deal. Let's be honest. They're still sitting out there. So, you know what I'm saying? There's not many things that survived 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, whatever, how many years throughout history. So these things are fucking important. You know what I mean? So, again, one more message, just because the Egyptians were about it, and it seems that they knew more or were able to do more with this kind of thought process, that we need to reattach our connection with spirit in the spiritual realm. And like I said, when I talk about spiritual or talk about spirit, I'm not saying it's religion. I'm not saying it's, go find Jesus, go find Allah, go find Buddha, whoever the hell, you know what I'm saying? No, that's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying don't do those things, but I'm just saying that spirituality, whether you believe that we are beings of infinite consciousness and we have infinite awareness, is a whole different story. So just find out, the truth that you, I was about to say something wrong. Just go find the truth, you know what I'm saying? Search up these things, study these things, reattach your connection with spirit and the cosmos, because it seems that there's a hidden knowledge in there that we have either it's been hidden from us by the secret societies that know these things, or that we've just cut ties with it and just deemed it insignificant. When, if you look at the Egyptians and Egyptian times and things where they were able to accomplish, boy, it's very significant. So, anyways, like I said, comment, like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, maybe, you know what I'm saying? I got to hit up a few other channels, man, to try to spread this damn message across. I got to comment on the video saying to kind of link up with different people, and I think that's 100% true, and I think it's a great idea. So I'll be trying to do that. And anyways, like I said, this has been it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Adios.